In this video, we'll prepare a full cash and GPP lineup for week 4 on the main slate for FanDuel. And it's all coming up next. Hello, everyone. I'm Eric Lay.
And I'm Michael Wiley, and we're the Fantasy Football Consultants. Eric, we're 4 weeks in, lots of crazy stuff already happening, but I'm sure the fans want to get right to it. Let's get to it.
Sounds great.
Okay, Eric, as usual, let's start with running back, and I'll let you start.
Well, Michael, I really noticed something interesting on FanDuel. They really haven't priced up anybody. Usually we see a guy, at $10,000 or very close to it. I can't believe Nick Chubb is the most expensive player. You know what? You got to understand that fantasy is volatile. All preseason, we talked about the fact that the best player in the NFL is Jonathan Taylor. And now I go 6 spots down before we get to Jonathan Taylor of all the guys. So, yeah, I'm going to let's start the lineup with Jonathan Taylor, because it's not just that Jonathan Taylor is a great player, that Jonathan Taylor is in an excellent matchup this week, playing at home. As a 23 implied total is pretty good, and he faces a Tennessee defense that has been terrible so far this year against the rush. We saw how valuable it is for him to have Michael Pittman Jr. That prevents teams from stacking the box like Jacksonville did when he was out in that week. So I think that everything is set up for Jonathan Taylor to have his first really big game. I mean, he had a good game in week 1, but I think he's going to match that or exceed it.
Yeah, and look what he did in week 1 against a bad defense, and now he's up against another bad defense. And Indianapolis has to win this game. They haven't overused him yet. They haven't really got him involved in the passing game enough. It's time to hand him the rock, and I think that's what's going to happen here. Like you say, he's not priced as high as he maybe would be if he had some great weeks right away. So it becomes a bargain.
All right. Thank you for my comment of my bargain, but you put it in air quotes, which I find slightly obnoxious. Why don't you find us a bargain?
Well, he's not as priced as low as I would expect him to be, given historically what he has done, because he's kind of been a 2-back system guy. But Jamal Williams out of my BYU is priced a fair amount lower, and he should be priced higher because he's now the guy. Swift's going to be out this week. You saw what Williams did when Swift was out for part of the game, and he's up against a defense that has been atrocious. They were really bad against Atlanta last week. Cordero Patterson went off against Seattle. Jamal Williams at home draws a great matchup here. He's great out of the in the passing game, and he's going to get even more touches this week. I think he's going to produce high.
Yeah, I think Jamal Williams, assuming like we really do expect Swift to be out, is an automatic start here on FanDuel at only $7,400. So great pick. In the unlikely event that Swift actually plays, which we do not think will be the case, Khalil Herbert here at $7,200, assuming that David Montgomery does not play, is a nice pivot. And if Montgomery does play, well, FanDuel has equaled their pricing, so 7,200. So we got a pivot for you. All right, wide receiver. Let's see. Some intriguing options up top. Strongly considered Stephon Diggs because we'd love to have that exposure to that really crazy Buffalo-Baltimore shootout game. And we don't have a problem if you want to go there. But we opted to save some money and drop down to $6,800. Get by far the favorite target of Cooper Rush, or Dak Prescott, whoever's the quarterback, CeeDee Lamb. Every game, Michael, he's gotten at least 11 targets. It was nice, yes, I'm going to say it, that we finally saw a CD TD last week. and he found the end zone, and he has just a great matchup. He faces Washington, which has been unsuccessful this year at stopping anybody. What do you think about Lamb?
Yeah, no, it's kind of surprising to see him priced this low. Obviously, this pricing came out before the Monday night game. He had a great game, and Cooper Rush is actually settling in pretty nicely. And he realizes CeeDee Lamb is the guy to get the ball to. And so, yeah, I think at $6,800, this is a great pick.
All right, where are you going with our number 2 wide receiver?
Yeah, well, I'm going to save us a few more bucks if I can here. Let's go down to $6,300. The number 1 rookie in terms of targets and pass catches in the NFL, and that's Drake London at Atlanta. Cleveland has not been great against the pass. Drake London has really been the number 1 receiver, maybe even pass catcher, competing with Pitts in Atlanta. Look at the targets he's been getting each game. He's been getting in the end zone. So he's a special talent, and he's by far the most used rookie at this point. So I think this is a nice price for Drake London.
Yeah, who would have thought just in 3 weeks into the season he would be averaging more than 8 targets a game? I think he's really benefited by, and you guys think about this for a minute, how bad that Atlanta defense is. They are constantly in situations where they are having to throw the ball. So I like this pick at only $6,300. I'm going to save $1,000 off that and go way down. Here, let me make you a deal. If FanDuel is going to continue to disrespect this guy and this guy continues to perform, I'm going to continue to start Greg Deutsch. Now, slight danger, just in full disclosure, there's a possibility that Rondale Moore will come off an injury. And if he does, I go from loving this pick to strongly liking this pick. I still want to start Deutsch at 5,300, even if Moore plays in his first game back. The good news is Deutsch has passed AJ Green in the depth chart, and it doesn't look like AJ Green, who's has an injury, is going to play in this game anyway. The guy who's also continually still out because of a suspension is DeAndre Hopkins. So there's continual room for Greg Deutsch in this wide receiver group. Last week, once again, he came through, and he's done all this, Michael, without getting a lot of touchdowns. And I think those are going to come with the targets.
Yeah, and he's drawn, other than that Raider game, some stingy defenses. It's a little bit opening up against Carolina. Kyler Murray likes this guy. Kyler Murray is going to get his passing yards, and Deutsch is going to be a big recipient.
All right, I'm just going to repeat myself. As long as FanDuel continues to disrespect this Arizona Cardinal, and this Arizona Cardinal continues to produce, I'm going to continue to suggest that we start him. At only $5,500, Zach Ertz, and I'm going to say some of the same things I said about Deutsch. DeAndre Hopkins is still out due to a suspension. And Zach Ertz in that week 1 was coming off an injury. Since then, he has been as dominating a tight end as almost anybody. Why not get him in your lineup at only $5,500? The Cardinals backed up a truckload of money in the offseason for this guy, and that was a clear indication that they're going to use him. They have used him in the last 2 weeks. That'll continue in week 4.
Yeah, let me just say one more point on that. I mean, it's important for our fans to appreciate that when a team pays up for their players, they feel like they have to prove to their fans that they made a good decision. So it will be scripted in to make sure they get the ball to somebody who's been paid up for, like Zach Ertz. And so regardless of the talent, regardless of Kyler Murray's ability to spread the wealth and his reliance on him, they're going to make sure Zach Ertz gets the ball.
Did you just take a shot at Zach Ertz's talent?
No, I was saying it independent of.
Okay. All right. Just checking. Okay. All right. So we got our 2 Cardinals in the lineup in a big savings. That allows us to spend some money, Michael, and you're the man for the job. What are you going to do?
Yeah, the quarterback position, let's go there. You're giving us a chance to go after really the number one play this week, which is Josh Allen. I know, Lamar Jackson has been producing a little bit more as of late, but that the Buffalo defense is just so good. I think Lamar Jackson is going to be told to be a little bit careful, but Josh Allen, he's going to be frustrated coming out of what was a tough loss against Miami. He knows this game can really get ran up. So I think Josh Allen is not only going to throw the ball like he did last week, but he's going to move the ball a little bit on the ground. He hasn't done a whole lot of that. I think he sneaks in a rushing touchdown this week. I think he's going to be the number one fantasy producer. Got to get him in our lineup.
Yeah, here's the deal, folks. You might go, well, what happened in week 2? They got way up on Tennessee. Why are you going to run Josh Allen, put him in harm's way when you're up by 2 or 3 touchdowns? So I don't think that's going to happen this week. I think this is going to be a shootout going back and forth. So, yeah, they're going to heavily rely on Josh Allen. They need a win, Michael. This is our Super Bowl pick after getting their first loss. I think they'll get it here against the Ravens. How about at the flex spot?
Well, we still have some money. Look, we got 11,100. Everybody knows what we're going to do at defense because we do it every week so that we can make sure we get what we want at these other positions. So what do we have left, assuming that we're going to spend around $3,000 on a defense? Well, anything kind of 8,000 and below. And I really like Saquon Barkley. I don't think we can afford Austin Eckler. And I think Saquon is a stronger pick than James Robinson because of how much he's going to be employed. That receiving core is atrocious right now. They just lost another receiver in Shepard's injury. And Saquon Barkley has been the most impressive piece of this, and they're finally using him right. And they're going to use him again this week.
He literally checks all the boxes, Michael. He's a home favorite. He's got he's facing a horrible rush defense in the Chicago Bears. They're 3rd worst in all the NFL so far this year. He's a goal line back. He's a guy that gets involved in the receiving game. Let's take all of that for $8,100. The price of that is, Michael, we've got to get your Las Vegas Raiders in the lineup. All right, the Las Vegas Raiders are $3,000. Clearly, it's a punt defense, and the only one that we can afford. But I'm not that excited about the New England Patriots at $100 more either. What you do get with the Raiders is they are at home and they face a Denver Bronco offense that, quite honestly, has struggled. Major disappointment so far this year. The opposition's implied total is only 21.5. But the negative is, Michael, what's wrong with your team? They only have 2 sacks this year, less than a sack a game.
Yeah, no, they haven't looked that great on the defensive side, but Denver, like you say, has looked bad. The Raiders are going to have to step it up, right? I mean, 0-3 is an atrocious start for what they had, especially with the Arizona loss, and Tennessee has just been bad. And I think they will this week. They're going to be at home. So I like this matchup for producing at least higher than some of the other bottom players, and they're going to get a win this week.
All righty. Let's go to GPP. All right, Michael, this is our GPP lineup where we're looking for it to go really off, which means we want a high ceiling, which means we're going to want to do at least 1 stack, but we've got multiple stacks in this particular lineup to increase for correlation. So we're going to do what I think a lot of people are going to do, which is attack that Buffalo-Baltimore game. That's the one that is most likely to go in a shootout. And we've got Josh Allen, who has a huge ceiling himself, both running the ball and passing the ball. But to save money, we're going to throw it to Gabe Davis. Now, he's their number 2 target, obviously, behind Stephon Diggs. But we save a significant amount. And the to remember about Gabe Davis is he's coming off an injury in week 2. And in his very first game back, it could have looked a lot better. He dropped a touchdown pass and he dropped another pass that would have made his stats look a lot better. I think they get him in the offense this week, and hopefully he comes through. And we'll run that back on the other side with Lamar Jackson's favorite target. He's reasonably priced, and man, he's got a nice ceiling. Hopefully he can do something of like what he did last week.
Yeah, no, I think that's the obvious start if you can stomach it. In fact, I think it's what's going to produce the most out of all the different kind of 3-person options.
All right, everybody. Most everyone else in our GPP lineup, we already talked about in the cash lineup, but we'll throw into TJ Hawkinson. Has a nice ceiling. He's yet to really go off this week, but it might happen with Amon-Ra St. Brown either missing this game or potentially hampered. So that's our GPP lineup. As a reminder, on your screen right now, we have the DraftKings Week 4 cash lineup and Yahoo for Week 4. Check out one of those shows. Until next time, take care, everybody.